Egypt thrived under royal power, yet beneath the harsh desert sun, God felt distant. Thousands of Hebrew slaves hauled heavy limestone blocks, fueling a tyrant's endless vanity. He watched his subjects toil, seeing not a people, but a growing future threat. Egyptian officers stood rigidly with bronze spears, enforcing a decree born entirely of absolute fear. The courageous Hebrew midwives whispered urgently in the shadows, choosing divine law over royal murder. A terrifying royal decree was sealed in wax, hanging heavily over every innocent Hebrew household. Jochebed shielded her growing womb within the darkness of their humble, dusty tent. Armed royal guards patrolled the narrow alleys, their torches casting long shadows across canvas tents. Husband and wife exchanged desperate, silent glances, knowing their precious child's life hung by threads. The harsh Egyptian sun beat down mercilessly upon the city gates, where armed patrols inspected citizens. Along the murky, swampy banks of the Great River, thick papyrus reeds swayed in humid breezes. Days melted into anxious weeks of quiet hiding, broken only by constant, pleading prayers to heaven. 3 full months of miraculous mercy passed, as the healthy newborn slept peacefully in secret safety. Suddenly, heavy footfalls echoed outside their canvas door, freezing the mother instantly in place. With utmost care, she tucked the soft blanket gently around the child, ensuring he remains peaceful. A tiny whimpering sound escaped the baby's lips, threatening to expose their entire family to death. She looked upward with fierce, tear-soaked eyes, knowing the time for hidden safety had ended. Let us pause right here for a moment. How do you protect what you love most when the world demands its destruction? Jochebed began twisting thick river reeds together, crafting an extraordinary vessel of rescue against despair. She did not weave merely a basket. She constructed an unyielding ark of fierce, defiant faith. With steady hands, she coated the entire woven structure with dark, impermeable pitch and sticky tar. Pressing her trembling forehead against the baby's head, she breathed out a final, agonizing goodbye prayer. She carried the ark down to the misty, dawn-lit riverbank, where deadly waters awaited her offering. Gently placing the basket among tall green reeds, she released her hold into divine providence. Young Miriam concealed herself in the tall grass nearby, serving as a silent, watchful guardian of hope. Down the paved royal path marched Pharaoh's daughter, accompanied by her attendants and shining parasols. Drawn by an unseen hand, the Egyptian princess stepped gracefully toward the shaded water's edge. The river itself seemed to hold its breath as the small woven basket bobbed quietly among the stalks. Noticing the strange object, the princess halted, extending her hand toward the tangled river plants. She reached for the baby. A tiny infant's cry pierced the air, melting the heart of the royal oppressor. The very hands that should have destroyed a Hebrew child instead cradled him with profound tenderness. Seizing the divine moment, brave young Miriam stepped forward from the shadows of the tall reeds. With astonishing poise, she offered to find a Hebrew nurse to care for the royal infant. The princess nodded in agreement, handing the baby right back into the overwhelming joy of his mother's arms. Within the quiet sanctuary of the tent, a mother gently cradles her sleeping child, destined to lead a people to freedom. She looked out toward the distant palace spires, carrying the staggering weight of a secret destiny. Years passed swiftly, and toddler Moses laughed freely, proving that life blooms boldly against despair. Eventually returned to the palace, the young boy was adopted into the very household of the oppressor. He grew accustomed to royal linen and gold, walking the same halls as the kings who sought his death. Yet Jochebed watched from afar in public crowds, her silent prayers remaining an anchor of enduring truth. Grand bronze palace gates swung wide open, marking the threshold where two completely colliding worlds met. An adult Moses walked the polished stone halls in royal attire, carrying a name that masked his true blood. One afternoon, he stood upon a high balcony, gazing down at the brutal construction sites of his Hebrew kin. Below him, an Egyptian overseer raised a heavy leather whip, bringing it down viciously upon a defenseless worker. A sudden flash of righteous anger overtook him. The Prince of Egypt stepped forward to intervene. With a single decisive blow, the balance of power shifted, altering the course of history forever. Standing motionless over the fallen body, he stared down at his shaking hands in immediate panic. Under the glow of a blood-red desert moon, he sprinted desperately through the massive city gates. Word spread like wildfire through the palace. Pharaoh's wrath awakened with a vengeance across the empire. He fled into the vast, scorching wilderness, a harsh, unforgiving place designed for divine preparation. A former prince of Egypt now sat completely alone beneath a brilliant canopy of desert stars. Kneeling by a remote desert oasis, he cupped cool water to his face, searching for inner peace. Dry sand slipped slowly through his fingers like time itself, whispering questions into the silent void. Arriving in Midian, he found a quiet refuge among nomadic camps and smoke rising near desert wells. When aggressive herdsmen harassed Jethro's daughters at the well, Moses instinctively stepped forward to defend them. He became a humble shepherd, guiding flocks across rocky scrubland hills far removed from royal courts. Day after day in the wilderness, an internal spiritual fire slowly kindled within his contemplative spirit. The harsh desert had shaped him, stripping away his pride and preparing him for a sacred calling. Then, upon the holy mountain, a wild acacia bush blazed brilliantly with fire that consumed nothing. He dropped to his knees in total awe. The stage was set for the great deliverer to return. I'm David. If you liked today's story, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.